Oh yeah, I can feel it in the air right now. Football season is finally back. I want to welcome everyone back to 4th and 5 for another season, and this one is a special one. You know why? Because now 4th and 5 is presented by Ortho Arkansas. Like I said, very excited about the partnership we got with them and the things they're going to provide for our show. When it comes to orthopedics and sports, they kind of go hand in hand, not kind of, they do. We'll talk more about ortho here in a second. But first, man, Josh, it's good to be back, my guy.
Man, it is great to be back. 2024 season. The Razorbacks are playing football again. I'm headed down to Little Rock. You know I'm staying at your house. You better have a room upstairs for me because I need a place to sleep after the game, man.
We got a whole crew coming to town. We'll cross that bridge when we cross that bridge.
Man, give me a couch, man. Give me a couch. Let's do it like we did back in college. Just let me crash on a couch or a futon I'll bring a blow-up mattress. But, man, I'm excited. Hey, I'm excited. DJ, you called me and you said, hey, Ortho Arkansas is on board. That's some of the best news I've heard. Some of the most skilled physicians over there that lead the way in everything orthopedic. So thanks to you, Ortho Arkansas is involved, and I'm super excited to have them as well.
Yeah, we are able to make that shake. And the cool thing about that opens up the reach that we can get as far as travel, giving you more content, really reaching so many different avenues. And so that's what it's really about. It's all for our viewers. So once again, please subscribe. And this is going to be a quick edition. This isn't going to be a full episode. We just want to give a little pregame. Welcome back, 4th and 5 family. We are here now. Obviously, it's all about that kickoff for the Razorback season opener against UAPB here in the Capital City War Memorial Stadium. It is set for 6:30. They moved it from Saturday to Thursday. Actually, a Coach Pittman request, giving them a little bit more time to have more rest and prepare for Oklahoma State Week 2. Huge game Week 2. We'll briefly mention that here in a second. But yeah, kickoff 6:30. If you can't make it to the game, it's all good. You can catch that on ESPNU. But the party's right here, Josh. And I want to say feedback from last year of viewers and subscribers watching 4th and 5. We appreciate the love. I want to set the record straight, though. Josh and I, we are not Razorback football program haters at all. If anything, we are the furthest from it. We love that program. And sometimes when we give our opinions, I think sometimes people confuse. How do I say this, Josh? You're good at your words. How would you say this?
Well, I think sometimes that people just in the Arkansas, you want to cheer for the Razorbacks, right? You want to cheer for them. You want to say positive things. I think in the past we've had some tough seasons, and when you tell it like it is, when you just dissect football for being football, sometimes if you're playing bad football, it can sound pretty rough. And so the feedback from a lot of people were, hey, you guys are being pretty rough. And I don't want it to come across that way. We're super excited to see the Razorbacks play very good football this season. Super excited to see Bobby Petrino lead the offense this season. And I think we're going to see a different result. So I think that all in all, this season has got a lot of hope behind it. We've had some things that have shaken up, some key positions that have been filled. And I'm excited to see what we're able to do going into the season. And this UAPB game is going to be the first test.
Yeah, I tell you, Josh, everyone's like, dang, DJ, why don't you say something nice about the Razorbacks? I said, I'm trying my best, Josh. I just need them to give me something nice to talk about. I mean, when you're 4 and 8, we're not going to sit here and act like it's all sunshine and rainbows. We think viewers like to hear exactly what is going on, keeping it real. We're going to give credit when credit is due, no doubt about it. But the product that was on the field last year, that's just how it came off. And it is what it is. And so if you like the content, if you like what we got going on, continue to follow. If not, hey, power to you. You do your thing. To each their own. That being said, Josh, before we kind of get into what we think about the offense and the defense and maybe some preseason thoughts, like I said, very excited about our sponsor this year, Ortho Arkansas. And so what comes with that, some real 4th and 5 viewers that have been with us for the past couple of years, you're going to remember this guy named Dr. Reynolds. We call him Kurt. Big Kurt. We're going to call him Big Kurt this year. He's awesome. So knowledgeable, loves the Razorbacks, and he really does give some insight. So here's this year what you can expect from Big Kurt.
Hey guys, Kirk Reynolds at Ortho Arkansas. Happy to be back with DJ, ready for 4th and 5 this year. We're going to try to bring some insight this year on injuries, both for our Razorback and other college teams here in Arkansas. Also going to mix things up this year a little bit, try to give you some insight on the questionable list for your fantasy football teams. Maybe a little advice on who to sit, who to start. Also going to do a little question and answer for our viewers. Those of you who have any kind of musculoskeletal, hip, knee, shoulder, ankle injuries, have some nagging pains, shoot us a message. We'll pick a few of those each week, try to go through them, give you some advice, see if it's something you need to have checked out or not. So as far as our Razorbacks go, so far this season, we've got a couple of players that are injured. Kudus, our guard, has been out from what we've heard. He's got a back. That's what Coach Pittman keeps saying, is he's got a back. So back injuries can be a multitude of things. Our most common things are just muscle pulls. Muscle strains make it hard to bend over, hard to stand up. You could have a slipped disc, a ruptured disc, a bulging disc, a herniated disc. Those are all basically different names for the same thing. That's where the disc in between the two bones squishes out like a jelly donut, pinches the nerve, typically leads to pain going down the back of the leg, can lead to some numbness, some tingling, some weakness. Obviously, that's a little bit more serious injury. Could also be something called a pars fracture. That's where the bone on the vertebra going between the spine can get a little crack, and sometimes that can get so significant that if you're looking at the spine from the side, that one of the bones wants to shift forward on the other, what's called a spondylolisthesis. That can be obviously much more significant and can get severe enough to require surgery. So if we can find that, identify it early enough, then our goal is to let that heal just like any other broken bone and prevent that surgery. Not sure that's what he's got going on, but could be any number of things there for his back. We got Dubinion and Armstrong that are both questionable right now. Seems like they're just a little banged up, early in the season, coming out of summer training, and hopefully those guys will be back soon, and we haven't heard of any serious injuries there.
All right, there you had it. Like I said, my guy knows the stuff. We're going to keep you updated throughout the weeks, things you need to know. And I know y'all fantasy football fans, y'all are going to love that, because week to week, when people play fantasy football, when it says questionable, they're like, that's right. Should I sit him? Should I start him? Should I sit him? Should I start him? He's going to give you a good idea of what you should do. So I know a lot of people are interested in that. Very excited to have Kurt back with 4th and 5.
Hold on. I don't think there's been one year that I played fantasy football where I have not come in any place but last. And I think that if I would have had Kurt over at Ortho, he'd given me, tips and tricks on, hey, look, this guy's not going to be starting. I mean, DJ, you played fantasy football with me. I'm scrambling at the last second trying to put my roster together. And then come to find out, half the guys that I have on my roster are currently injured. So if I had Kurt, helping me organize my roster before we go into game day, I think I might have come out with the championship a time or two.
Hey, it'd be nice. Yeah, Josh started like 3 guys who weren't even on the field. So
I got kicked out of my league. Yeah, in fact, I got kicked out of my league. DJ was there. I caused a big fuss. They thought what I did was so bad that it must have been purposeful. So they kicked me out of our fantasy football league just due to complete incompetence. But unfortunately, I didn't have Kurt. So maybe that'll change this year.
You know what followed, though? They kicked my boy out. I was out, too. Anyway, gives us more time to focus on 4th and 5. All right, here we go, viewers. What y'all want to know? What are the Razorbacks going to do this year? All right, and so we're going to take a quick look, offense, defense, and overall thoughts of what we think is going to happen. Like I said, usually our episodes get close to 45 minutes to an hour. This will be very quick, and then we're going to have a post-game show as well with everything that you probably missed while watching the game. We're going to break it down and tell you exactly what you need to be looking for heading into Oklahoma State and Stillwater, the biggest game, no doubt about it, setting the tone for the season. So that being said, Josh, let's go ahead and start with this offense. I will say a lot of reasons to be very optimistic on the offensive side of the ball, especially with the guy now calling the shots.
Absolutely. I mean, that was the biggest change coming in the 2024 season, after coming out of the season that we had last year. So all season long, we have just been anticipating the return of Bobby Petrino and the product that he's going to put on the field. And I'll tell everybody out there that I happened to run into him during this offseason and had a chance to chat with him for 15, 20 minutes. And I'm going to tell you right now, we talked about the old days when he was at Arkansas. A couple other teammates were there when we got to meet with him. And, he made it very clear he's coming in to run the type of offense that he's used to running when he was previously here at the University of Arkansas. He looked at the roster. He knows the weapons that he has there. I mean, this current roster of offensive weapons at receiver has a bunch of playmakers. You've got a lot of length. You've got Broden, who's 6'7". You've got Tesla, who can catch the ball in just about any position. You've got speed with Isaiah Santanga. You've got guys all over the board, and you've got some guys coming from Major League Baseball who bring a lot of poise and age and experience, and the big show, in the major league. So these guys, it's a good mixture of young and talent and wisdom and age, and I think it's going to play great for that offensive core, that wide receiver core. And then you've got the quarterback, and if you guys go back and look at last season, I made a point to say that I thought, and I was wrong, I thought that he was going to come in here and really appreciate the quarterback that he had on the roster. And I'm going blank on his name right now. It's Jacoby Criswell. Sorry. I thought that he was going to be very appreciative of walking into a situation with Jacoby Criswell having the type of arm talent that I believe he had. And it didn't work out. He had his mind set on, if I take this Arkansas job, here's the quarterback that I'm going to go out and get and bring in. And I shouldn't have even have doubted him, to be honest with you. If Bobby Petrino's going and getting a quarterback and taking him along with him as he took the new job as offensive coordinator here, he clearly knew what he was doing and had his mind made up. And so all we've seen all offseason and during camp is the fact that this guy can make plays on his feet. He can also throw the football. So not that you're going to hear anything other than that, right, during the offseason, because who's going to, hate on themselves? Who's going to disclose problem areas that the team is having? But I am still excited to see what Bobby Petrino is able to do with that. But the biggest question mark always comes down to the offensive line, because I don't care who you are, what coach is calling the plays, or what receivers is catching the ball, and what quarterback is throwing it. If you can't get the playoff, if you don't have time in the pocket, and you don't have that protection in the trenches with the offensive line, you're not going to be able to get anything done. So that's my take on where we're at, and this is going to be the first test at UAPB. What do you think?
I'll just have a few comments off of the things you said. Yeah, the receiving core is awesome. We got to mention Andrew Armstrong as well. Very talented receiver, big, fast, and so the size on the outside. And with Satania, from what I've heard talking to a few people, a lot of people think Satania has the speed. He's going deep. Coach Petrino, he's going to use him in that slot, and you're going to see a lot of shallow routes. What that is, when you move him in motion, he's going to see what's on the defense. If there's a man indicator, look out. They're going to try to get him the ball as much as possible. Coach Petrino has been giving him a ton of praise in the offseason. So, and Coach Pete, he ain't going to talk good about you if you ain't got nothing good going on. So he's very excited about that. Also, there's a guy wearing number 9. He plays the tight end position. His name is Lucas. Real deal. And the thing about Luke, he is so talented, upside through the roof. Every time I hear somebody talk about him in fall camp, and even the coaches, they say, yo, he's special. That's high praise. And the thing about Luke with that tight end room, his number 2, his number 3, they're not that far off. They are deep in the tight end room. Right. So I expect a lot of 12 personnel early in the season to establish the talent that they have in that room. So a lot of 2 tight end sets, because with guys like Luke and Gum and Ty Richardson, I believe, hopefully I'm saying that right, Washington, sorry. Man, these guys, you can put them all over the field and they can do their thing. So very excited to see the development there. And also, too, Josh, you got to talk about these running backs. They got that transfer coming in. And from what I've heard from guys from practice, Jackson, he's going to get the ball a lot come week 1. So you can see the run get established. You got to go back to when we played the Catamounts last year at War Memorial Stadium. Arkansas blew them out. It was fun. But, Josh, I said, I'm looking at the tape, and we got some issues. Rocket Sanders, captain, was supposed to be our guy. I think he was held maybe under 50 yards for the whole day. The Razorbacks barely rushed anything. And so they have to establish that running game, and that's going to be the true test for the offensive line this year. Should we blow this team out? No doubt about it, Josh. But that's all I'm going to be watching is the offensive line versus their D-line. And if we are getting pushed off the ball 3 to 4 yards almost every play, we're going to be in one of those situations. I was like last year, hey, this winning thing's cool, but it's not looking too good on that offensive line. So I think they know that. They're going to make that a point. They're going to establish the run, throw in a couple run play actions to maybe get something off of it, some bootlegs and nakeds. And then I don't think he's going to pull out the arsenal when it comes to, that's Coach Petrino's offense. They're going to put a little on the tape, save it for Oklahoma State. They don't want to show everything. So as far as what you said with Coach Petrino, man, very excited about the offense. Taylon Green, very excited about him. We've only heard great things about him at camp. There's one thing that makes me nervous, Josh. We've heard Coach Pittman say, "Hey, he's not just a runner. He can throw now. He's a quarterback who's going to throw the ball." We talk about he's very coachable. Coach P says when he has to use his legs, he can extend plays. He keeps his eyes downfield. We're going to have to wait and see. And this was KJ's hurdle. I don't think Taylon is in this one because I think Taylon is a little bit more coachable and open to new ideas and learning. And I think KJ just started drinking his own Kool-Aid, thought he was the man, and he couldn't tell him nothing. Now, I hate it. Right. It is what it is. You couldn't tell him nothing. And even though I think he'll do great in a Gus Malzahn offense, but for what we were trying to do here, it was just a bad fit. But I need to see the difference between last year and this year if Taylon is good at his pre-snap reads. We haven't heard much about that. Usually coaches would be like, oh, man, he knows the game. He's great getting into the right play. He's great at picking up blitzes and making sure the protection is good. I haven't heard that one time. And usually if you have a quarterback who excels at that, the coaches like to brag about it. And so that'll be something we can see week one. UAPB, they're going to blitz. They're going to bring the house. So what do they have? Nothing to lose. And so when we played Western Carolina last year, there were so many times, Josh, I saw a safety rotate over the slot receiver who was covered by a DB. Huge indicator almost all the time. Pressure's coming. A blitz is coming. KJ didn't see it one time and gave up a couple sacks. Now, he did his KJ thing and was able to elude him, but, that caught up to him later in the year. So I would love to see Taylon Green pre-snap, getting up to the line of scrimmage, looking up and kind of backing up and saying, whoa, 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 whoa. I think that would be very promising to see come out of week one. So that's my little spill on the offense. Let's get to the other side of the ball, unless you got something
hold on
with.
I want to touch on something, though, because you said you made a good point about what I think Petrino's using this UAPB game to do. Yeah, Oklahoma State's next week, so you're not going to bring out all the shots here and disclose all your secrets, because Oklahoma State is an opponent that you need to be ready for, and it's going to set the tone for the rest of the season. So UAPB, is supposed to be a warm-up game. For LSU, for Alabama, for Florida, this is a warm-up game. So if we go in at half and this game is close, that's not where we want to be. And unfortunately, in the past seasons, that's what we've seen in these type of games. I think that if you're Bobby Petrino and his mentality is going to be exactly what you're saying. He's going to use this to just set up the foundation of the offense and get these guys warm. If you remember back when Petrino was here before and the way that he ran his offense, we always think of Bobby as this, air attack, high flying, throwing the football like crazy. And that is true. He did do that. But he was quietly a balanced offensive coordinator. Man. We ran the ball a lot. Think about the running backs that we had back in the day with Niall Davis, with Dennis Johnson, with Ronnie Wingo, with DeAnthony Curtis. The list goes on. He had a stable of running backs that he rotated, and they all were really good at their own thing. And he found a way to incorporate that into the offense to make sure that he was using the talent that he had back there to disperse the ball evenly across the field. I think that's what you're going to see, because he's going to use this game to see what he's got in the stable. At the running back position, at the wide receiver position, you made a good point with Isaiah Satanga, getting them the ball in space. We all think speed, go deep, but really you want to be able to get him the ball in space just so that he can make a move with his feet, because he is a playmaker. And then your talk about Luke Haas at tight end. He's sneakily athletic, and if you watch him run his routes, oftentimes it's not that he's just blazing fast past people. He knows the defense they're in, and he's oftentimes just playing smart football and getting open because the play has been extended and he knows where to go. He knows how to sit in holes on zone defense. He just finds himself mentally putting himself in the right positions on the field all the time. That's half the battle, right? So I'm excited to see what we're going to do, but I have to agree with you. This game is going to be a game where Bobby Petrino is coming to establish a foundation of offense and learn a little bit about the team that he has.
Before we move forward, we got to talk about something.
Yeah.
Remember this, number 6, number 9, 6'9". All right?
Mm-hmm.
Stop. Chill. You're a child.
Go ahead.
If you're going to say their names, put some respect on their names. It's Isaiah Satania, not Guh. All right? I'm saying this because I like him. He's one of my guys, all right? Are you going to Satania, and it's Luke Has.
Look.
I don't want to hear the Hogs. Luke Has, all right?
Look. If you want to give me, a spelling bee or a speech curriculum test right here, go watch KARK4 News in the morning and watch DJ Williams try to pronounce words like acetaminophen. He doesn't know what it is. We had to tell him it's Tylenol because he didn't know what acetaminophen was. So before you come at me on 4th and 5, somebody tune into KRK and teach this man how to say acetaminophen. He don't know. He takes it every day, but he don't know. So get off my back.
First of all, I'll take ibuprofen and Advil. So
right.
That record straight. And 2, you ain't going to sit here and tell me if somebody walked around all day and called you Josh.
Look, I've been called Josh Thorne my whole life.
You got a problem with it?
No, I don't.
What do you prefer? Thorne or
I'm just saying, I'm not correcting anybody if I say it like a little bit off. We're living Arkansas, man. ARKANSAS. I can spell that, but I can't pronounce every name in the book. So get off my back. Yeah. You did. Get it right. So look, what do you think this defense has got? Let's hear it.
All right, here we go. Defense. I miss you, man. I'm glad we're back.
All right, defensive side of the ball. This has been the interesting one. A lot of talk has come out at the defensive side of the ball, and you hear stuff like this, Josh. I've been keeping up with it every day. So listen to this. This will blow your mind. Apparently, they got so many linebackers that they had to create a new formation just to get them all on the field. There's going to be a new penny position so they can get 4 linebackers on the field. And I'm thinking, when did that happen? I thought we had 0 linebackers in spring ball. Now we got too many we don't even know what to do with. DBs are apparently so competitive and good that we don't have starters. We got standards because they got too many that could be starters. So whoever they put in is essentially a starter. So they just say, no more starters. We got standards. I mean, like, dang, are we that? Mm-hmm. Did we get that much better in the offseason?
I don't know, but we got a lot of popularity in the offseason. We're on the Pat McAfee show. We're on ESPN.
All right, so I will circle back
Our
around.
Defensive coach can rap. I love it.
Before I get into what I think all of that stuff means when you hear it, I will say Travis Williams, our defensive coordinator, I love him, like him. I love him a lot. Seeing the way the kids respond to him, seeing his approach, a former player who understands what to get out of his players. He's been there before, and you can tell they relate to him, and he empathizes with them. And I really do believe he has them sold in or bought in. And it 100%. Takes a special kind of person to be able to do that with young men in the landscape that college football is right now. Everybody just focusing on their money. He's been able to somewhat get around that. I could see him potentially being a head coach one day here very soon. He has that type of approach. So big shout out to Travis Williams. Now, do I think some of this is coach talk covering up? Because for me, Josh, I don't necessarily like standard starters. I want to make sure I know who my starters are. I want guys in camp who have separated themselves from everyone else to earn that spot. And then the people behind them, 2 things will happen. They get in their feelings. They hit the portal. I would say go do your thing. Or you got guys that were hungry and be like, okay, if that's the starter, I'm going to work every day to go take his spot. And that's what I would prefer. And so I think they're just in a situation of saying things because they're not really sure where they are. Defense are the linebackers, and the reason I think there's so many of them and they had to create a new package is because they are their best players right now. I think they have the most depth at linebacker. I don't think it means that they're all SEC first teamers, but I just think that's where their best players are on defense. So whereas I think they would prefer a DB to step up and be better as a safety, they're like, yeah, we really need a safety in this position, but I'd rather have this guy on the field, even though that's not his position, because he's just a better player. And so I think that's the way they kind of make that work to try to get the best guys on the field. I think it's good that they have enough guys that are talented and able to do both things. Think of like a Jericho Nelson. He was a linebacker, but he also was kind of that person who could cover a slot receiver, cover a running back out of the backfield. So they got a lot of guys like that that are very athletic. So there goes your secondary thoughts, linebacker thoughts. We're going to have to wait and see who separates themselves to really kind of for us to give a gauge of who our guys are on defense. I still think they're trying to figure that out, but we'll know maybe by week 2. Defensive line. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like the hype that the coach has provided. I like the leadership that the coach has provided. If you have a defensive coordinator, in my mind, like that's the guy that you want. This is the type of defensive coordinator you want. You know, Arkansas has not had a history in the past 10 years of being a defensive back school. So we need a guy who's going to come in and can kind of create that culture. And it seems to be that that's the type of coach that you would want. I mean, it's still preseason. It's still off season. But how are you going to go into a season without, having your chest up and believing that you can do it in the way that they presented themselves? As much as I want Arkansas DBs to, perform and be, kind of a leader from a defensive back school in the SEC. We just haven't been that. So I'm still, this game against UAPB is going to tell us a lot, because UAPB may be in a smaller conference, but a lot of those guys that go to UAPB are still athletes. They're going to have a couple one-off guys that are there that can play football, especially in those one-on-one matchups. So the UAPB game is going to give me a little taste of what our DBs can do. And then that Oklahoma State game is really going to put them on, under the spotlight, because Oklahoma State's got some athletes over there at receiver. But I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid because our defensive coordinator can rap and he can hype everybody up, because that's really cool. And I loved it. And, it got me hyped too. But at the same time, if history tells me anything about Arkansas defense, the defensive backs have been for a little while the weak point at the team. And I'm excited to see a change. I'm hopeful for a change. But at the same time, I'm not buying the stock yet. I got to see a couple games.
I'm there too. And all offseason, Josh, I've been seen as a pessimist, but the coaches know this and the players know this. You got to show me something. Offseason's great. Practice is great. But when you step in between those lines, you got to show me something. And if they feel like they don't like the criticism based off what we've seen last year, and they'd be like, man, first of all, you shouldn't be worried about the noise anyway. But if you do hear it, I hope the approach is players and coaches on the team. I know the coaches are like this. I know they are. Players on the team be like, all right, man, let's show them. And don't take it personal based off last year. But that being said, let's go ahead and get to the defensive line. And this is a very interesting position group for me, because they would say it's their strength right now. Landon Jackson, preseason honors. Cam Ball, they're saying it's man, and he's going to be great in the middle. NFL talent, and they got a couple big guys, and they said that's what it's going to be. I think I'm going to pick my player that I'm going to have. They may have a love-hate relationship with me, because it's going to seem like I'm coming at them. The one guy, Josh, that I'm going to be on this year, and this is a guy I love. I love his approach. I think he's a legit leader. I think the guys gravitate towards him. I think he's about his business. He approaches the game the right way. But am I buying into the hype of he is that dude? Talking about Landon Jackson. And now I know a lot of people are like, what? He's our guy. I'm a little worried sometimes, Razorback fans, and myself included, we get into seeing maybe one play here or there, or one game here or there that stands out, and that sets the tone for the entire year. Perfect example, Trevin Brazile for the basketball team. Y'all remember that monster dunk? ESPN top 10, Sports Center. This guy's first round top 10 pick. Where was the consistency? Fell off. We kind of get in a situation. Really wasn't what we thought it was. We got all hype on that one play and thought he was it. I'm not saying wish the best for him. I think he's going to do better with Coach Cal. Go back a few years, Hudson Clark, loved the guy. And I will say this, Hudson, if you're watching this, I used to be on you all the time. You put in the work, and I really love where you are now and expecting big things from you this year. But back then, I think a lot of Razorback fans, Ole Miss, 3 picks, 1 game. He's our guy. He's our guy. the consistency.
Right.
That's what I needed to see. I'm a little worried with Landon Jackson against Alabama. He had 3 sacks in that game, and everyone said 3 sacks against Alabama, and that's first-round talent.
Right.
The rest of the season, I think maybe 2.5 he added to it, maybe 3. And so I need to see more from him. And I say this because I really do think this guy is going – this may sound weird. I think he's built better for the NFL, and I think he'll do better in the NFL. He has a very particular skill set. When you get to the next level, they only ask you to focus on just that. They don't care about anything else. Just do what you're good at. We got plenty of other guys that can fill in those gaps. So I think he'll be a better NFL player. So this year's going to be big for him to set the tone on the defensive line. I'm not sure if he's as good as the hype is saying, but I really do hope that he proves me wrong. Cam Ball, as another guy in this situation, I want him to show me something. Show me something, Cam. And I'm saying Landon and Cam, I'm picking these 2 guys out because a lot is on their shoulders. It really is, because if you aren't strong up front, you can't get pressure on the quarterback without bringing pressure all the time. It's going to be very interesting to see. So I'm hoping, week 1, it is what it is. But week 2, man, they really need to step up. So I'll be looking for those 2, and I'm hoping by week 4 we can get back on 4th and 5 and be like, DJ, he already got 6 sacks already.
That's right.
But I'm a little hesitant.
I'm going to replay that clip. Replay that clip.
And I will say this one, too. I want to ask him about his size because you know what they got him listed at right now? Listen to our D-line. Listen to our D-line. We got a freshman that's 6'3", 388, plugging up the middle. We got Cam Ball, 6'5", 325 or 335. They got Landon Jackson, 6'7", 280 on the edge. Josh,
man, I don't know.
No. I saw Landon in person. He ain't no 6'8". He ain't no 6'7", 280. He ain't no 6'7".
Well, I'm not actually going against the weight on any of this.
Yeah.
But what I have found being around sports for however long I've been around it now is that everybody, and when I'm saying everybody lies about how tall they are.
I know.
That's just the truth.
I saw Landon, and when I saw 6'7", 280, I was like, whew, that dude needs to be in the league yesterday. Saw him in person. I would say he's about 6'6", 270 maybe. So that's 1 inch shorter, 10 pounds, and that's big in football. A big difference between the two. So,
but let me tell you this: that the NFL Combine always tells the truth.
It'll tell the truth.
That's just the reality.
So the reason I say that is because I think a lot of people are hyped up about how big our defensive line is. And I'm saying, I saw some clips of Cam Ball. First of all, great hips. He explodes through his target. I love that. 335. If he could do that at that weight, I'd be like, this dude's an issue. We need to make sure you keep him on the field as long as possible because he's going to make plays. So I will say this, Josh. I don't feel like as we kind of start wrapping this thing up, we talked about offense, talked about defense, and all these preseason predictions you hear from all these people. I honestly don't believe anyone can honestly give a legit opinion about what's going to happen in college football this year. Outside of the programs, the very small amount of programs that returned a lot of the same players and added very good ones, there's so much shuffling. This transfer portal is insane. We have no idea what we're going to see this year on the football field. It's a completely different team, and so is every other team. So I say this, Josh. I think we're going to learn a lot week 1, being able to see them in person because we'll be looking for the little things. And so I won't be able to give a legit opinion of how I think this season is going to go before we kick off against Oklahoma State. But I don't think anybody can give a legit opinion until they see at least one game because so much has changed for every single team.
That's absolutely true. I'll have to say this to my final thoughts on this. The SEC is wide open this year. Nick Saban is no longer a coach at Alabama. We don't have a clue what we're going to get there. I guess we're going to find out, was it Nick Saban or was it Alabama? We're going to figure that out this year.
Stop.
We're going to learn. We're going to learn.
Stop.
I'm not saying.
Stop.
I'm just saying. Hold up.
Nick
I'm just
Saban.
saying. Hold up, brother.
Put
I'm
some
just
respect
saying.
on his name. It was all.
I'm not
Saban.
even.
Trust the
I'm
process.
I'm not even offering my opinion. I just said we will find out.
We already know. We already know.
Now, what I will say is you're right about the transfer portal. Everything is open. It's absolutely insane. I mean, we just got an 800-yard rusher from Utah this year. So I mean, that adds a lot of value to what we have. The teams can morph year to year. It's not the old college football in the way that it used to be. I know a lot of people don't like that, but hey, this is what we're living in. And if we want to win, then we got to get with the program. You know what I always say. And I'm going to wrap it up with this. And this is not meant in a negative way. I'm just stating facts here. This is an interesting year because we just brought in Bobby Petrino, probably the best coach in the recent Arkansas history that has been at this program. And he came in as offensive coordinator under Sam Pittman, who is currently 23-25 here at the University of Arkansas. So a lot rides on this season. I'm hoping and praying that we have a fantastic season because I like Sam Pittman, the man, but we got to be better than 23-25, and this season's got to show it to us. So I'm excited to see what we put on the field against UAPB.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you just said, and I know this without a doubt. Coach Pittman is saying, hey, it's time to put up or shut up. What's it going to be?
That's right.
Pieces are in place. Let's put in the work, and we're going to see. So, like I said this was going to be a quick 25-minute, 30-minute. Here we are, about 40 minutes in. We can't help it, man. There's so much to talk about. This is just a tip of the cap, preview of what 4th and 5 is going to bring here this year. Like I said, make sure you stay with us post-game as we give you the breakdown analytics. We're going to show you game film. I'm going to tell you exactly what the coaches are saying. I'm going to show you things that you're probably not looking for on the field, and we're going to get after it. We're going to be at it every single week, and we're going to be honest, and most importantly, we're going to be fair, good or bad, no matter what it is. It has gotten us in some trouble, for sure, sometimes. Limited access, hurting people's feelings, people who don't want to talk to us anymore. But I just don't think that's what it should be about when it comes to giving opinions about a sport that you and me are both very familiar with, both have played at the collegiate level. And like I said, the things that we say, I promise you, those coaches are telling them the same thing. Sometimes it's just hard to hear things when it don't go your way. And I know that's the truth because I've been there before, Josh, and I got plenty of tape I could pull up right now of me looking like a slap. No doubt about it. Like, this guy doesn't even belong on the field. It's just part of the game. It's just about how you respond and being able to take that criticism and getting better from it. So that's what we're going to do each and every week. We're going to have fun. Very excited about the new opportunities we're going to have thanks to Ortho Arkansas. Building it up.
Let's do
And
it.
stay tuned because we may have some other partnerships as well. Very excited about this season. As always, Josh, tell people, comment, leave questions that we can answer. And so it's that time of the year, Josh. I can't wait for it. Kickoff just right around the corner. It's going to be a fun one, man.
Yep. We'll see you guys at halftime, and we'll see you after the game. Thanks for watching 4th and 5.